Hello, my name is Ryan Lander. What I'd like to be going over today is how GLP-1 antagonists can negatively affect your health over a long period of time. So, when something sounds too good to be true, what is it typically? It's typically too good to be true, right? So, that's how I look at these GLP-1 antagonists like Wegovy, Ozempic, and Zepbound. America's obesity rate is about 40.3%. And it's becoming more and more of an issue in the United States. Almost half of Americans are considered overweight or obese. Now, how this plays a part in my day-to-day life is I run a gym. I'm a personal training director at a large gym facility. So I see this and people ask me all the time, how do I feel about these things? And like I said, like when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. Problems with these substances, and the 40.3% was cited off of CDC's website. Problems that are, or a few of the topics that I'd like to go over is muscle loss, long-term risks of these substances, how these substances aren't going to fix your nutritional health or anything like that, or the overall health habits that we have. And there's really no long-term information of these drugs. These are all just like a few subjects that I'm gonna be touching on tonight. First off, I would like to be going into muscle loss. About 20 to 50% of the weight lost on these substances is from muscle loss. So we need muscle loss for our bone structure, for our health, for balance, for less risk of injury, for mobility, all these things. We need a substantial amount of muscle. So to hear that 20 to 50% of the weight loss is actually healthy weight or lean muscle mass is kind of shocking, especially when it comes to a fact like we're trying to be healthier, we're trying to lose weight. Well, we're not losing the weight that we want, especially at 50%. That's extremely detrimental to our health, especially if we're just trying to be healthier and go outside more. We're at a greater fall risk. That's my second subject is we're at more of an injury risk. So greater fall risk, greater risk of fractures and breaks, which can lead us into a hospital or long-term hospitalization if we're not careful with these things. All cited off of PubMed.gov. Also off of PubMed.gov is that these can lead to hip fractures, spinal compression fractures, which can lead to some serious overall health issues long-term, especially in older people. They're at more risk of it, especially with a lot less muscle mass. The older we get, the more important muscle mass on our body is. My second topic that I would like to focus on is the poor nutritional habits that come out of these substances, cited off of PubMed.gov as well. Nutrient intake and diet quality on GLP-1 receptor antagonist users, weight loss at cross-sectional analysis. So protein intake, fat intake, and carbohydrate intake, low in adults on substances like these. So problem is, don't have enough protein intake, we're not keeping the muscle mass on our body. The protein that we intake on a regular basis either retains muscle or builds muscle. Fat is there for brain function, hormonal function. Healthy fats are there for brain function, hormonal function, just growing hair, regular things like that. And then carbohydrates lastly, as a sense of how good I feel on a regular basis and how well I can perform on a regular basis. Like if I can perform my tasks, if I can take notes in class, if I can focus, it all comes down to whether I have all of these added up into my day-to-day intake. So problem with these substances is that it just decreases the amount of food that we're eating. Typically, when we're getting on substances like this, we're already not eating very properly. So now we're eating just less of the improper food. So now we're not getting in enough fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, or healthy proteins, healthy fats, and healthy carbohydrates. Going into another topic is dependency risk. The problem is a lot of the time is that when we get off substances like these, our food snaps back to right where it was before. And we go back to eating the way we were before, if not worse, because we have a hunger rebound in studies that's shown on JAMAnetwork.com. Basically, our metabolism is slowed at this point because now we have less muscle mass on our body. And then we rebound to a point of where we are eating just as much with less muscle mass, and then we go to a point where we gain all the weight right back. I believe it's 70 to 80% of the people that get off these substances gain all the weight right back within a year, because they didn't switch anything about their nutrition or their activity levels on a regular basis. So just something that I'd like to touch on, just a pros and cons list of these things. So pros wise, significant weight loss. That's a great thing. Like, yes, decreased blood pressure, decreased hunger, all of these things that reduce risk of diabetes and drop in cholesterol levels, all great positives from these substances. But with this is also comes the cons. Muscle loss, lowers body's metabolism, higher risk of injury due to muscle loss, likely to regain all of the weight back as soon. Like I said, 70 to 80% of the people gain all the weight right back. Hunger rebound, drug dependency, doesn't solve the overall nutritional issue or activity issues, and then long-term drug use, which we do not know anything about at this point. So, concluding on this subject, I would just like to go over today and went over 3 major subjects that include drug dependency, muscle loss, and possible injury, and appetite suppressant. So, while GLP-1 antagonists may carry fast results and look good in the beginning, the long-term overall risks of these substances far outweighs the good physically, nutritionally, and psychologically. While these weight loss drugs look good in the beginning, there are so many health risks with these drugs, and the real option is to change how you're eating and how much physical exercise you're doing on a regular basis. Switching your life doesn't need to be through pharmaceutical medications, but can be through overall self-care, which we should be doing anyway. Taking a walk midday, going to the gym, eating some fruit instead of a sweet treat. These are all just small changes we can make to get you through to a point of where you're living a little bit healthier of a lifestyle. It takes some time, it takes a little bit of work, but we can't skip over the important things when it comes to this stuff. That's all I have. I personally find this subject really beneficial to go over, especially nowadays, and especially in the field that I work in right now. And yeah, I'd love to hear your opinions on it. Thank you.